This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Well, tonight in Helena, majority Republicans unveil their fix to balance the state budget.
The special session of the Montana legislature got underway at noon today, with the governor and lawmakers working to eliminate a $227 million budget hole. And
now it appears that the final votes won't happen until Wednesday, but Democrats who are in the minority are not happy.
Republicans unveiled their plan after a full first day of hearings on proposals offered mostly by Democratic Governor Steve Bullock. The GOP plan rests primarily on two bills, including one that relies on $32 million to be transferred from a fund controlled by the company that owns the private prison in Shelby. That money would be released only if the state agrees to extend the private prison's owner's contract, which expires in 2019.
The other GOP-backed bill contains some $90 million in budget transfers. Those transfers would be on top of $76 million in budget cuts already ordered by the governor. Democrats adamantly oppose using the prison money. They say the Republicans have written the bills to say if the prison fund money is not accepted, well, then the funding transfers won't happen.
We really are kind of boxed in right now. So we'll have to wear the private prison is what they're forcing on us right now. Because without it, we don't get the transfers. And without the transfers, there's 90 million more cuts that are going to have to come out of services that people in Montana depend on.
Lawmakers met late tonight and will resume the special session Wednesday morning.
GOP leaders say they are hoping to have things wrapped up either late tomorrow or perhaps on Thursday.
Does Billings need a new sports facility? Well, that question will be answered over the next few months with a new study.
Q2's Dustin Kleeman here in studio with us tonight with more details on this story. Dustin?
Good evening, Jay and Jeanelle. That sports feasibility study began after a citizen group in Laurel looked into a need for a new pool. 6 funders are backing the $60,000 study that will determine what and if a facility is feasible. Utah-based group Victus Advisors will conduct the study to identify amateur sports trends around the county and its needs. The goal is to identify the needs of a new facility that meets local and regional use. And the final analysis will be a roadmap for development.
What is going on in your market? What is their demand for from a sports standpoint? What does that mean in terms of facility opportunities, whether that's enhancing existing ones or potentially building new ones? And we, at the end, want to give you a roadmap that says, okay, if you do choose to move forward with what we see that there's demand for here, how do you do that? How do you pay for it? How do you operate it? How do you keep it ultimately sustainable for both local and regional use over the next 20, 25, 30 years?
Whatever project is decided on could be 3 to plus 3 years or beyond before it is completed. Victus will conduct interviews with the local sports community and beyond. The results of that study will be made available to the public in February. Jay and Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Dustin.
In other news tonight, Attorney General Jeff Sessions fielded tough questions from the House Judiciary Committee today, particularly on whether he had previously lied under oath about his dealings with Russia.
The hearing at times contentious as Sessions fiercely defended his honesty and integrity. Mola Lengi has the latest for us tonight from Capitol Hill.
I've always told the truth.
In more than 5 hours of testimony, Attorney General Jeff Sessions denied ever lying to panels investigating Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
I will not accept and reject accusations that I have ever lied. That is a lie.
Just months ago, Sessions testified he had no knowledge of any contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia, before later admitting he met with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak twice last year. Tuesday, he acknowledged being in this meeting when Trump advisor George Papadopoulos offered to go to Russia on behalf of the campaign.
I would gladly have reported it had I remembered it, because I pushed back against his suggestion that I thought may have been improper.
While House Democrats mostly grilled Sessions on Russia, Republicans pressed the Attorney General on other matters, including Hillary Clinton.
What's it going to take to actually get a special counsel?
It will take a factual basis that meets the standards of the appointment of a special counsel.
On Monday, Sessions cleared the way for DOJ officials to look into whether a special counsel should investigate a controversial uranium deal involving the Clinton Foundation and a Russian company. During his testimony, Sessions maintained politics would not play a role in its review. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And as far as Alabama's Senate candidate Roy Moore, well, Sessions testified today he has no reason to doubt the women who have accused Moore of sexual misconduct.
Thousands of people in Puerto Rico are still trying to get off the island after Hurricanes Irma and Maria wreaked havoc. But one Billings man is heading back for a second time. Q2's Asia Gore met with Dave Pauly to tell us about a special souvenir that he brought home.
The AKs got hammered by Irma, pretty much flattened, and then just 12 days later got a second Category 5 storm. And people just can't imagine the devastation from that.
Dave Pauly saw the destruction firsthand when he traveled to Puerto Rico post-hurricane to offer help. Pauly is a senior advisor for the U.S. Humane Society here in Billings. His mission, rescuing animals.
There weren't any human providers there, so we switched our mission to mostly human provision, part animal.
At most disaster scenes, Pauly distributes kibble and rabies vaccinations. But in the wake of such carnage, Pauly found himself handing out hygiene products and food.
A lot of people had to evacuate because they had nowhere to live and had no way to get their dogs off the island. So there were lots of abandoned dogs.
He eventually turned his focus to the animals, rescuing horses trapped by debris and feeding hungry dogs. Pauly says this litter of pups was born the day after Hurricane Irma. He brought them back home for adoption in the U.S.
We walked out to 27-degree air at 3 in the morning, and they just curled up in little balls and weren't ready for that cold air. But they're acclimating. I mean, they're walking on snow now. They'll adjust just fine.
It's a colder but safer place for these 5 pups who lost their home, too. Pauly plans to check in on their mother when he returns to the island to complete unfinished work.
I'm a disaster junkie. You know, I've been to so many over 30 years, probably 50 different events, and at the end of the day, you know you've made a difference.
In Billings, I'm Asia Gore.
You missing some loving?
MTN News.
Thanks, Asia. Now, Dave Pauly also answered the call to help animals in Texas after Hurricane Harvey and Florida, where Hurricane Irma made landfall. And Asia tells us the puppies you just saw will soon be up for adoption at the Yellowstone Valley Animal Shelter.
Another deer in Montana has tested positive for chronic wasting disease. It's the second such confirmation this month. Fish, Wildlife and Parks officials say the mule deer buck was harvested south of Belfry about a week and a half ago. That area is primarily public land. It's about 15 to 20 miles southwest from where Montana's first CWD case was identified. Bob Gibson, Region 5 Information and Education Manager, tells Q2 this newest case really is not a surprise, but will help better define the area that will be studied further by the agency's incident response team.
What we're trying to do now, and what we will continue to try to do with a hunt later in the year, after sometime in December, is try to figure out the extent geographically of the disease, as well as the pervasiveness, what percentage of the herd actually has it.
CWD is a progressive fatal disease that, if left untreated, can result in population declines within affected herds. Now, if you're a deer hunter in Montana, Fish, Wildlife and Parks has listed all precautions and laws regarding chronic wasting disease, and we have those details available for you right now at ktvq.com.
Turning to weather, Bob, we are seeing a lot of snow up in the mountains, and that's great news for skiers.
Picked up a couple inches today up in the Beartooths or so, a little more in some places. So we thought we're wondering what's happening with the ski slopes. We have the answer. We looked it up today, and here's what we found. You'll notice Red Lodge Mountain, they're getting ready to open November 24th. That's the day after Thanksgiving. That's next week, folks. Big Sky, they're opening up on Thanksgiving Day. Bridger Bowl and Showdown, they're going to open up probably on December 8th to normal operations. But in both places, they're going to have some pre-opening days, like a preseason opener there at Bridger Bowl. That's going to be on the November 24th. It's just going to be for that day, and I think on Saturday, but not regular operations then. And then also at Showdown, they have what they call a Season Pass Holders Appreciation Day, and they're going to open that up on December 3rd. So coming up. So good news there. The ski slopes are getting ready to open, and we're expecting to see some more snow up in the higher elevations. We'll chat about that in a few more minutes.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
If the Billings Police Department giving out turkeys wasn't your idea of Thanksgiving, Well, PETA is trying a little different tactic.
In response to our officers giving away birds to unsuspecting motorists, the animal activist group will donate 20 tofurkeys to BPD.
And today, Billings Police Chief Rich St. John accepted their offer. St. John says there is no shortage of families in need here in Billings, and police will be happy to hand out the tofu turkeys. Tofurkey, by the way, is the trademark name for a brand that's made of organic tofu and wheat protein.
Have you ever tried it?
I have not.
Me neither. Maybe it's time.
Yummy.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news. From mining coal to writing codes, one program is now teaching former coal miners a new trade.
Plus, generous contributions from our community making all the difference in the world.
And later in sports, Scott checks in with your Cats and Grizz, who weigh in on why the road team has won 8 of the last 10.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.